Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Motivation, the show where we inspire you to become the best version of yourself. Today, I want to share a few things with you that can help us understand who we are as individuals. Firstly, there are three types of people. Three people that give knowledge to the world or that have knowledge within themselves. These three types of people can be like a well. So when someone gains knowledge, he is the type of person that is like a well that is filled to the top. However, if that well is closed, no one will receive information. No one will receive water from that well. And then there is the second person, who the well is filled to the top, and the well is open. But in order for people to receive the water, in order for people to be able to get that knowledge, they have to come to the well. And then there is the third person, who is like the rain cloud, who scatters water and knowledge every single place that it touches. And that is what I want to be here for you today. I want to be that rain cloud to share this knowledge, this valuable information with you. But in order to do that, there are three types of hearts that receive it. And the first type of heart is a heart that is like a rock, and it is hard. And when that water falls on it, it just washes off and nothing sets in that heart. And the second type is a heart that is like a desert sand. And when the water falls on it, it might wet it for that moment, but then it dries up again. And there is of no benefit to the person or to anyone else. But then there is the third heart, the heart that is soft, the heart that is like a fertile land, the heart that benefits from the water. And from that moment that the water sets into this heart, it starts opening up and it absorbs the water. And it bears the most beautiful, beautiful trees, which give the most beautiful fruit. So all I ask for you today is open your heart to become that type of a heart. And this is what I really want to share with you, the ability to change your heart. There isn't anything on earth that requires more attention and purifying and curing than the condition of the human heart. Yet in truth, there isn't anything on earth that is more neglected and exposed to all sorts of harm than that same human heart. So how important is our heart? How important is it to have a beautiful heart? Let me put it to you into perspective. When revelation came down to our beloved Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah says in the Quran that if I had revealed this Quran onto mountains, the mountains would have shattered. But what did Allah choose to reveal the Quran onto? Onto the heart of a human being. And this is the importance of a human heart. This is the beauty of a human heart. Now I want you to sit back and think about something. Because if someone had to ask me this question, my answer would have been different if I did not know this perspective. Do you have a heart of a diamond? I would have said yes to that easily. I really would have not understood it, and I would have said, yes, I do have a heart of a diamond. Why? Because it sparkles and it's beautiful and it's the type of heart we actually strive. But what is a heart of a diamond? The diamond is the hardest rock on earth. And yes, it shines to the public. And yes, the value is given by others only. So the truth is it actually valuable to have a heart of a diamond when it only benefits the owner and no one else? So a heart of a diamond being the hardest rock, and yet it might shine to the world and look beautiful to the world, is not the heart that we should strive to have. So please understand, this heart is for you and you alone. So have a soft, fertile heart that absorbs everything that is put into it. Have a heart that has the ability to feel, the ability to think, the ability to see, the heart that has the ability to help every single person that it could possibly help. The heart is the king of the kingdom of your body. So ask yourself a question. Is your heart a corrupt king, or is your heart a just king? So I beg you, when no one is looking, search for your heart and soften it to a beautiful, beautiful softness. Because it is in this softness that we will truly become amazing individuals. How do we go about softening the heart? Let me share something with you. Your eyes and your ears are gutters to the heart. In the same way that a gutter directs water to a specific point, your eyes and your ears will direct it all to that heart of yours. So if we fill it with unacceptable and inappropriate images and sounds, that heart cannot take it. Then you say things such as, I am anxious, I am miserable, I am unhappy. What have you filled those gutters with? What are you filling your heart with? Happiness resides in the heart. So be very, very careful what light you let into your eyes and what sound you let into your ears. Because if you want true happiness, understand that paradise in this world is found in the contentment of your heart. And as Ibn al-Qayyim once said, in the human heart, there is a sense of scattering that can only be gathered by returning back to Allah. And in the human heart, there is a sense of loneliness that can only be erased by finding companionship with Allah. And in the human heart, there is a sense of fear and anxiety that can only be removed by fleeing back to Allah. And in the human heart, there is a sense of regret that can only be extinguished by contentment with Allah. So understand that it all starts in this heart of ours. This is the beginning of us feeling happy. This is the beginning of contentment. This is the beginning of a beautiful life. Because when we stop wanting a better life, this is when the good life really starts. And we are all looking for the good life. And we all want a good life. But we are so consumed with everything that goes into our eyes and everything that goes into our ears that we feel that it clouds our mind, but we forget that it is clouding our heart. So we need to remove those clouds from our heart. I know it is difficult. I know on a daily basis it is a struggle to find your heart. I know on a daily basis we get these aches, pains, and emptiness. But understand, as our beloved Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam once said, that the example of a human heart is like the example of a feather blown about on a windy day. The truth is that that heart changes through moments in your life, through moments in the day. And the same way we have no idea which side the feather will land on, that is the same as our heart. But we have to keep on trying to make sure that when it lands on the wrong side, then draw closer to Allah and watch it switch back to the correct side. So know that your heart is going to be blown around in this world, a world that has taught us that mindset is everything and that peace and stillness can only be achieved in the mind. Ask yourself this question. Why is that the heart beats in the fetus before the brain is even formed? What does that mean? The truth about that is that the heart is the first part of you that is formed. It is the center of you, and it is what we will give to our beloved Allah on the day of Qiyamah. So I'm asking you, find this heart, find stillness in this heart. Forget about the stillness of the mind. Forget about calming the mind. If the heart is calm, the mind will follow. And if the heart is at ease, the body will be at ease. So is it not your heart that we need to actually look at? Is it not the heart that we need to be able to see with an inner eye, looking inside, saying, change for the good? Because in goodness, in our heart, we will help those around us. In goodness, in our heart, we will be able to find peace. So you might be finding yourself anxious. You might be finding yourself ungrateful. You might be finding yourself uncertain as well. But that's normal. But in those moments, search for it. Look for it. Find it in your heart. Make your heart bigger than any other part of you. And understand that this heart was meant to glorify our magnificent Allah. And it was not meant for anything else. So when we find that, we will find peace. And when we find that, we will have a beautiful heart. And when we come back from the break, we will discuss ways to be able to find it, ways to understand this heart a little better, and ways for us to understand that it all begins with a change of the heart. This is Motivation, and see you shortly. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. We were discussing ways to change our heart, to find beauty in our heart. And let me just share with you a little case that happened in 2008 about the heart. In 2008, there was a man who took the heart of a donor. And a few years later, he became very depressed and committed suicide. When they investigated, they found that the donor of the heart had also committed suicide. The same heart. What was even more amazing was that they found that the woman that the man who received the heart from was the widow of the donor who had given his heart. She was the one for that heart. So if something were to happen to me and one of the brothers were to take my heart, I ask you, please, my wife is here, move to another city. I would really, really appreciate that. No, really, in all honesty, this is the truth about the heart. This is what the heart actually is. So this heart has a mind of its own, a mind that has to be treated with the utmost of importance, because it is what we will be judged for on the day of Qiyamah as we present our hearts to our beloved Creator. If it is filled with sin, there will be no space for goodness. And if it is filled with goodness, there will be no space for sin. So let your heart shine on your face. And I share with you a valuable way of doing that. If the last third of the night was able to speak, it will tell you about the sheer number of hearts that were cleansed during it, and anxieties and burdens that were alleviated during it, children that were given to barren parents because of the du'as made during it, and financial stresses that were removed during it. So a beautiful way to start is the performance of our tahajjud in the last third of the night. Our heart will soften, and our heart will become beautiful, and it will shine, because we need to beware of using our heart for other than what it was created. For imagine somebody trying to drink water by pouring it into his ear, or somebody trying to eat using his eye. The outcome will surely be damage. Similarly, the heart was designed purely and solely for the remembrance of Allah. So use it for what it was created before we damage it. In the words of Abdullah ibn Abbas, who said, "Good deeds bring about a light on the face, and luminosity in the heart, and strength in the body, and expanse in your money, and love in the hearts of people for you. But on the other hand, sins bring about darkness on the face, gloominess in the heart, weakness in the body, limitation in your wealth, and hatred in the hearts of people for you." So I hope that this message goes straight to your heart. And if you feel that you have a heart of a diamond, do not despair, as we have a Creator who loves us more than a mother loves his child. The child was once chased out of a house by his mother for having done something that she did not agree with. And as he sat on the floor, crying at the doorstep of his mother, knocking and pleading for forgiveness, as mothers always do, she eventually opened the door, embraced her young son with love and forgiveness. So knock on that door of forgiveness to the Almighty. Knock on the door to the most forgiving, because you are just one knock away from an absolutely beautiful heart. And I want to share with you a few ways to be able to change this heart. Just a few methods that can help us understand what this heart is and can help us understand how we need to change it. Let us first start with what I want to call sincerity. It is one of the most important things that we can do to change our hearts. In every single action that we do, whatever we want to do, every goodness that we want to do, our intention is extremely, extremely important. And our intention is what sets in our heart. And the importance of intention cannot be spoken about enough. The importance of intention has to be so pure. Our ikhlas has to be so pure. Our sincerity has to be so pure. And what is ikhlas? What is sincerity? It is the ability to be able to do something without any impurities falling into it. It is the kholisun, the purest of all drinks that comes out of a cow, which is between blood and excrement, and yet none of it falls into it. Ikhlas is similar, where not one drop of blood, not one impurity can fall into it, or it will damage it. So before we do anything, let us look at our intentions. Let us look why we are doing what we are doing. The second thing I want to share with you is certainty. We need to be absolutely certain in our hearts that no matter what happens in our life, our Allah is there to guide us. He is there taking us, showing us the way. And I often talk about it. Don't ask, why is this happening to me? But rather say, why is this happening for me? And as Steve Jobs once beautifully put it, he said, we cannot connect the dots going forward. However, we can connect the dots going back, because those dots have brought you to this moment. But just know that this moment is going to take you to the next. And that's certainty. That is understanding what it is to be a certain individual, to have absolute faith that no matter what happens, your Allah is there guiding you to the next dot. Thirdly, I want to talk to you about having khushu, stillness in your heart, letting your heart be calm, not letting your heart want and crave all the things that are not necessary. Finding this stillness is what I talk about when I talk about a land waiting for water to fall on it. Because when that water falls on that land, it is only then that that land ruffles up and absorbs the water. But until that moment, if you have to look at that land, it will completely be still. So find a stillness in your heart, because in the stillness, you will become a calm individual. Fourth that I want to talk about is the ability to be patient. Patience is the vehicle that takes you to the destination of gratitude. So always be patient in this heart. Do not let this heart be hasty. Do not always want things. Understand that whatever is meant for you will come to you. And whatever was not meant for you will never, ever come to you. So there is no use yearning for it in this heart. There is no use having an emptiness in your heart that does not allow you to find this khushu, that does not allow you to find the stillness in your heart. Patience leads to khushu, which leads to certainty, which leads to sincerity. It all works hand in hand with each other. So if you want a beautiful life and you want a calm life, find patience in everything that you do. And that leads me to my final thing. And that is the most important. And we've spoken about it so often on the show. We hear the word all of the time. But understand, gratitude is where it all begins. Gratitude is the most beautiful value that we can have as human beings, because it is when we lose this value of gratitude that we become ungrateful. And the ungrateful person is the person who will never, ever have a satisfied heart. So when I talk about being grateful, I mean that look around you. We are living in a world of turmoil at the moment. We are living in a world where things absolutely look like nothing can go right. But take a step back, go inward, look within yourself, and then say, I am grateful to the Almighty for blessing me with what He has blessed me. Because in gratitude, we will be able to find a calmness, and in gratitude, we will be able to find a peace that will allow this heart to flourish, that will soften it, because we always cry about not having any shoes until we see a man with no feet. And we look at what's happening across the globe, and we look at the war that's going on, and people losing loved ones, and people losing young ones, and people losing fathers, and people losing mothers. And it is sad, and we feel it in this heart of ours, and it breaks us to the sheer core of us. It hurts us. But have we stopped to ask our Allah, to thank our Allah for what He has blessed us with, to thank Him for being so wonderful to us who sit here and have so much to be grateful for, yet we look around and we want more and more and more. So don't let moments like these pass. These are moments that gratitude can change your entire life. So like I shared with you, wake up for our tahajjud. It is in that part of the night that du'as get answered. Ask Allah to soften our heart. Ask Allah to help our brothers across the world. Ask Allah for anything that you want to ask Him. But most of all, ask Him for the dua that Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam made. The dua that said, Ya Allah, when I come to you on the day of Qiyamah, let me come to you with a sound heart, because it is all we will have to offer our Almighty Creator. So take care of this heart of yours. It is the most important part of you. The heart is where everything begins. And every single heartbeat is an important heartbeat to the believer. So make it a beautiful heartbeat. This is motivation, and let me motivate you.